Monica. Thanks everybody. This is a really, I found the day just incredibly inspiring and just really fantastic. So I have three observations and reflections. One is that the local level is really crucial. We need to understand what's going on locally in order to make large-scale impact. And I also think it's really important, I think many of the presenters touched on this, to understand what's happening locally so we can implement, but also so that we can think about how to evaluate. You know, programs are great. We put out a lot of programs out there on the ground, but we really need to show that they work. And so really thinking about, in the design of the programs, making sure that we think about evaluating them as well. When we think about evaluating them, we also want to think about how to implement. Thinking about that evaluation, not only does it work, but how do we best implement the program on the ground locally. So that's the first. I think local's really crucial. Secondly, I think it's important that we tell really good stories. We need to tell those stories in a way that hits the audience that we're interested in reaching. You know, it can be decision makers, it can be parents, it can be kids themselves. But telling those stories with emotion and also trying to bring in the data that really matter to them. So I think it's about communication. So, you know, I think we're really good at, you know, knowing what works, looking at the data, but I don't think we're really that good yet at evoking emotion in the stories that we tell. So I think we need to do a better job with that. So I think I heard a lot in this room about the great things that are happening. I'd love to see those stories translated to key audiences in emotionally telling ways. And a lot of, I mean, much of the day was spent around the third point I want to make was around partnerships and building those collaborations in a cross-sectoral way. You know, I come from a public health world. I'll always wear my public health hat first. I'll wear my data hat as well. But I'm trying to understand, you know, what does transportation need? What do decision makers need? What do parents need? It's all about being a good listener. You know, and if we enter those conversations in that way, I think we'll really be able to form those cross-sectoral collaborations in a better way. We heard, you know, I think Kathy brought up the Walkability Action Institutes that are ongoing in Montana. You know, we have that program at CDC that we've had going on now for a few years, where we bring together many different sectors of professionals, transportation, planners, business folks, local leaders, and we ask them to develop an action plan for their communities. But I think that model is a great model to think about as we move forward to develop partnerships. And then finally, I think, you know, we can't forget about having the foundation of evidence, which the last panel talked about a lot. That evidence is really important. We need to build on it, and we need to use it as we go out and really try and change the world.
Great, thank you, Janet, and thanks for modeling with the 3-minute mark as well.
Did I hit it? Oh,
perfectly.
I was really worried.